Hello creatives, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, but I'm going to be doing a new series. It is going to be all about the Zodiac. So for this first one, I'm going to be doing Capricorn, and they're just going to be like little illustrated icons, I've decided. So here I just start with your basic artboard, a square artboard. And I am going to change the background to a nice mid-tone gray. And Capricorn seem to be surrounded by Saturn a lot, so I'm going to do some Saturn-like colors, maybe some maroon, maybe a little gold, maybe a little orange. I chose a very basic font. It's just the Myriad font. I wanted something very simple. Capricorns are ruled by cardinal, so they are a cardinal symbol. So I'm just making a triangle out of 3 squares. Just take the squares and you shape build out what you don't want just to make the triangle. I just duplicated that triangle and made a smaller one on top and fixed the stroke on that. And I'm just resizing them a little bit here. I decided to keep them all white because it's easier to read white on a background of color. Trying to decide what I'm going to do with the background here. I was thinking more of a navy because Capricorns are really into navies and dark blues, some electric blues, some ultramarine blues. And since this is a zodiac sign and I'm going to be including the constellation, I thought adding some stars would be nice. I am, on the upper left, I am separating my layers so that I can have things on separate layers just to keep things organized. Again, I took that triangle and I just duplicated it, took out the tiny triangle, and I decided to use the triangle symbol as the illustration icon border. And what I'm doing now is I'm just resizing it just to bring home the element of the cardinal. And they think their ruler is also Earth, if I'm not wrong. So I'm just going to shape build out all of the circles outside of the triangle away. And I'm just taking off that triangle end so it looks, well, right now it kind of looks like a pizza, but you know, hey, that's always a good thing. So I'm going to then pull all the stars in. I'm just putting them wherever I feel is necessary, making the stars furthest away a little smaller. And then I think, let's see, I'm just gonna whoops. Those paths, man. Okay, so I'm just gonna reiterate the background here inside of the illustration because I don't want a full background since I am making this into an icon, so I just deleted that background. Don't need it anymore, but I still wanted to keep the navy because Capricorn is all about navy apparently, all those blues. But I decided to add the Saturn colors because their ruling planet is Saturn. I'm just checking my colors here. I am using the color guide and the swatch panel to make sure that I have all the correct colors here. Color guide is really useful when you want to match your colors and make sure that none of them are completely like bashing up against each other. Then for this section, I just decided that I wanted to do a gradient because gradients can be used really nicely here. So I'm using the new tool, the freeform gradient tool, which I found very handy. I'll be messing with these throughout, but I'm just using that gold color and then a deeper gold color, more of like a light brown in there. And then for the third one, I'm not so sure if I want to keep the orange. But I decided to just mix around that orange red with brown, and then I changed my mind and took more of like a maroon color to it, but I think I might change it later. Whoopsie. Wanted that triangle stroke to be gold, not the fill color. There we go. I'm just resizing that Capricorn again. I think I want to change this gradient, so I'm just going to add the blue, the navy blue. Prior to recording this, I did choose all my colors from the Pantone website so I can color match with Pantone using the pure Pantone colors. And then for that second gradient, for that second Saturn ring, I wanted it to be more vibrant, more gold, more sheen looking. I just used a brighter gold tone and like a light yellow, and then that gold tone that I had before from my color swatches. So I'm just messing around with the gradients right now. And then here I decided, you know what, this is the perfect time to actually bring in the constellation. So I did that by just using the circle tool, sphere tool, and just holding down shift and creating little spheres, little circles all around to create the constellation. It's kind of an interesting constellation. Capricorn is a goat fish, head of a goat, bottom of a fish. So the constellation ends up looking quite pretty. And I'm just using that pen tool just to do click, 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 click all the way through all of the points. Just using it as a stroke, increasing that stroke a few points up. And then here, I know you can't see it, but I am using the inner glow effect and the outer glow effect to create a nice, well, glow, because it's a constellation and stars shine at night. So I decided to give that a little extra just to the constellation because the stars are already white, so they're already blinding in your face. But I wanted the constellation to be a bit special. Again, just going back to that gradient, messing around, moving things around, seeing if I can get it to look the best it can, and then just resizing and placing the stars in a better position, maybe adding a few more. I wasn't really too picky with the stars. And then at the bottom Saturn ring, I decided I wanted all the Saturn rings to connect more with each other. So instead of that red, that bright red, I decided just to bring the gold into that. And that way it kind of connects them all, sort of. And now I'm also bringing that dark maroon color up to the top one because I realized the bright color wasn't really vibing too much. It was a little too bright, because red is more associated with Aries. So I kept it down to the darker tones, the deeper tones, and then I added the gold into that top ring as well. And because I added so much gold, I was like, let's just stick with the gold theme, and I changed that little earth symbol triangle under the C for Capricorn into gold as well. So I'm going up here to the left corner, as you can see, and I'm just creating a lot of spherical shapes, a lot of circles and ovals to create our actual Capricorn figure. Like I said before, he is a goat fish. So I'm just creating all the circles so that I can create the head shape and the beginning of the tail. And I'm just shape building that using the shape builder tool to form the creature and then take away everything that I don't want by holding down, I think it's Option or Alt, and then clicking to remove everything. And to make sure I get his sizing right, I just check that. Now I pull them up to the right hand corner and I am making his horns out of little ovals. Now I've been practicing with shape building. I did not get it quite right on this go with the horns, but you know, it's okay. If you don't get it quite right the first time, that's fine. Just take your pen tool, take your white selection tool, and you can just fix it like I'm doing here. No big deal. It takes a few extra moments, but you know, can't always get it right on the first go. So that's looking more like a horn. That's looking a bit better. And then I just duplicated that and reflected it horizontally so that reflected it vertically so that I can have two horns. Now I'm working on his snout and making that look more goat-like. I'm mostly basing this off of memory of what a goat looks like. I have seen goats before. I have had goats before. So I'm just basing it off of my basic knowledge of what I know a goat to look like. I know not all goats are gray, but I wanted him to be gray. Did his little ear. I duplicated his horns to make his fishtail. This is just a light interpretation of a fishtail. So I'm just beefing that up and making it thicker. I did combine the two horns together using the Pathfinder tool, and then I just duplicated it again to make him look like he has a thicker tail. So, oh, I didn't use the Pathfinder tool. I'm sorry. I used the shape builder tool again, and because I didn't get it exact, I'm just fixing that up with the white selection tool and the pen tool just so I can get more of a fin-like shape. So I'm just adding that to the end of the tail there, and I realized that it's a little awkward looking, so I just fixed it a little bit. And now I'm moving on to the body. Yes, I'm using that freeform gradient again. I love this new tool because I used to dislike gradients because you can only do it in 2 directions or you had to do it on angles, but I like the freeform. It's so much easier to use. It looks so much more realistic. And with that, I'm just coloring the goat with various hues of gray and then white for the highlight colors. And then I decided to make him look more like a fish. I'm going to use that ultramarine blue and more of that deep blue, kind of like a dull blue, to make him look more fish-like. I'm just going to put him in place of where I want him on the icon. Oop, fixing his little body there. I realized there were some dents in it. And let's see, I think from here I'm going to just fix the ear a little bit, make it lighter at the end, darker towards the head, make it look more believable. Put that horn that's away from us behind his head, again, to make that look more believable. It's looking pretty good so far. Let's zoom in here and let's go ahead and make the eyes. Now, I have been up and close and personal with goats because, you know, they have goats at the fair, and their eyes are always interesting. So a goat has a circular eye, but then they have like this rectangle going through, and they can actually see almost 360 degrees around themselves. You can never sneak up on a goat. So I decided to duplicate that here by just using a circle and a rectangle inside of his eye. I'm just creating the legs with 2 ovals. Just going to fix that up, make it look a little bit more like a goat leg, a little bony here. Again, those freeform gradients, gotta love that. I'll fix that in a little bit. Let's make some hooves. Just 2 ovals, shape to shape blend. I mean, not much else there. I made another oval for the dark part inside the hoof so that you can see inside the hoofs. So it makes 2 ends. Made that a little darker. I don't know if I'm going to keep these colors. I might change them just because I don't want everything to be gray, but just pop that bottom up there just so it all comes together. Resizing it, looking through my colors, using the gold ones. I think I like the gold. Let me just fix the leg here a little bit, get the angle right, turn it. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Don't like this dark color in here. Let me just fix the angle of that and just move the shape a little bit with the white selection tool. I think I might use the dark gray. Nope. Okay. Let's just keep it with that because it looks better with that. It kind of goes with his eyes. I'm just fixing that gradient on the leg once more, making the leg look a little bit more realistic, if you will. And then I'm just going to duplicate that and then set it all behind, make the gradient towards the body a little darker on that back leg, just so you can see the difference in depth there. And then I realized that my scale parts of his fishtail weren't looking really fish-like, so I decided to add more of the blues in there instead of just having the grays. So it looks more like scales. Like if any of you remember Rainbow Fish, that book, that was kind of like where I drew inspiration for his tail, minus, you know, the purple colors, because, you know, Rainbow Fish was rainbow, but Capricorns are all blue. So he's looking much better now, and I just resized him. And that is it. This is my icon. I hope you guys enjoyed this and following me along with this. And leave a comment down below what you think and what zodiac sign are you. And I will see you again soon, creatives.